Hello, everyone. This is John Maddox. I am here for the 800-pound deadlift update. So, one thing I need to do is to highlight to people that when I made my declaration in February that I thought I could pull an 800-pound deadlift, at that time my hip was not bothering me like it was by the time I got to June. So even though I was doing some, work, conventional work, trying to do one of my favorite exercises, which I call the power stiff-legged deadlift. That's when you do a stiff-legged deadlift from the mid shin. Even though I was having some irritation, it wasn't stopping me from my training. My squat was coming back. And I was also, only deadlifting, from about 8 inches off the ground, something like that. I was just working the top end because I've been mainly concerned about getting my squat up because I want my legs to be stronger. And then so what started happening is I was starting to do these negatives. I did 3 separate negatives over a period of time between February and June of 2024. And then by the time I did the last one, my hip was in so much pain. That's because my hip did ended up coming out again for the second time in June, trying to push those exercises, my favorite exercise, which I can't do anymore, which is the power stiff-legged deadlift. So one of the things that I had to do, so when I tried to do that meet in July, my hip was out. I had an ear infection. Wasn't planning on being out, non-temperature controlled meet, and it was hot, and having an ear infection, having my hip bother me. And plus, I didn't deadlift off the floor since October of 22. So I literally just walked in. And even though I actually bombed that meet, which means I don't have a perfect record anymore of being in the top 3. So, because when you bomb a meet, it's a deadlift meet, that means you didn't place. So I did pull 655, but I dipped it on the way up, so they disqualified the lift. And I left the meet afterwards because I really wasn't properly prepared for it. I decided to go in there, see what what was going to happen. And then I've made adjustments since then. So, and one of the things that I realized is that I have to be able to train my lower back, and I can't do it the way that I used to do it because of my hip. So this injury that happened to me in April of 2022, where the machine in the gym malfunctioned and jammed up in my hip, created all types of problems for me. I watched my deadlift disappear from April until October. October of 22, I finally took time off, got MRIs done. Then we started putting the plan together. I'm just giving you a summary of something I've already told you guys before. And I know as we keep doing these every week, farther and farther in between from the original story. And then finally in April, because it wasn't working, I was getting like 90% there. In April of 2023 is when I started bringing Dennis Novelli in. So Dennis Novelli came in. He specializes in the sacrum. So Zwang, who I actually saw this past week, just so people know, I get busy times of the year and I can't see Zwang as much. And there's been a lot of road construction between me and Zwang's office, which has been creating a lot of problems too. Because there is a little bit of a drive for me to get to his office because he's in Howell. I'm in my office in Southfield. But I did see him this week, and so Dennis is the one that was helping me with my sacrum. I'm trying to get the sacrum under control. And so 4 months of seeing Dennis, my hip popped back in. Didn't know my hip was even out because the original MRI didn't say my hip was out, it said my sacrum was out. So, and then what I've been doing since October of 2023 is trying to build my hip strength up, get my squat back up. And I did put up my biggest squat, 635 so far. And then lately I've been pushing more for 680, doing negatives with 680, stuff like that. And then in the background, I've been trying to figure out what to do here with my hip. And so one of the things I started to do is no more conventional work at all. So since I've had that meet in July, I have now wrapped up 3 separate of my weightlifting cycles, right? So, it's usually 3 weeks and I take a week off. So the first week back, I'm doing super wide sumos after I do standing good mornings with a super wide stance. And when I first did it, I had a hard time doing 325. And then the following cycle, the first week back, I did 330, right? And then it was 320, then it was 325, and then it was 330. And 330, I actually did pretty smooth. And then that's at the end of that 3 weeks, that's when I pulled 770. That just finished up my last 3 weeks here. So, and that's 4.5 inches with the weights 4.5 inches off the floor, which is the most I pulled from that position. But my back wasn't the strongest it's ever been at that position. All right. So what I did this Monday, right, this week now, this is my first week back for this training cycle. I actually did a standing good morning with the wide stance with 410 pounds. And so just so you know, roughly around April of 22, before I injured my hip, I was doing about 460 in that position. So I did 410 and I did a negative with 500. And I was able to do the negative with 500 without injuring my hip. So the hip's been feeling much better. So my weakness right now and why I cannot lift 800 pounds is not my leg strength. My legs are getting stronger. When I try to take 680 down now, it's not a negative anymore. I can literally take it right down and I can start coming up with it. So I think I'm going to squat this weight here the next month or so. Just got to have a good day when I go in there. Because, you know, some weeks I hit it really hard. The next week, you know, sometimes my body just regresses a little bit. So when I attempted a 635 super wide deadlift after doing a negative with 500 and doing 410 in the good morning. So my lower back strength's coming back. So at the end of this 3 weeks, I am going to attempt 800 pounds, 4.5 inches off the ground. I believe I can do it, you know, with the legs getting stronger, the fact that I'm pushing my lower back, the lower back is coming back. All right. You cannot be a great deadlifter if you do not have a strong lower back. I don't care how strong your legs are. All right. You need that lower back strength so you can lock the damn weight out. So now I figured out a way to work around it. Now that I'm doing no conventional work, I'm doing only sumo work. The hip feels way better and I'm very happy. Unfortunately, you know, I'm doing reps with 675 in the shrug at the end of these workouts now for 10 reps. So it'd be interesting what I bench next Friday when I don't do any deadlifts or shrug work this upcoming week. But, you know, my shoulders were tired. You know, I did do a really nice strict 315 bench. And, you know, all the way up, you know, pause at the bottom. But because my shoulders are so tired, I really couldn't do much more. We jumped up to 385 and it wasn't that good. I only got it about an inch off my chest. But then my lower back work, you know, I do the inclines, you know, I do the one set of inclines afterwards, you know, with the dumbbells. And then I went to my bent rows and I initially pulled 495 for a single and I didn't really like it. I wasn't happy with it. I think I was bent over too much. So then I took it again and I don't know what got into me, but I did an easy triple with it. Yeah, 495 is nothing for me to triple in the bent row. But after all that work, because I was still a little tired from Tuesday, I should say. It's my Tuesday workout. I ended up wrapping it up. I didn't do any of my assistant stuff, you know, but I guess, I mean, you hit everything when you do the main exercises. So I still handled as much as 385, even though I didn't do it very well, but I still have to take it down for the negative. You remember, the negative is very important in your training. It can really help you, right? But what happens to me is because I put so much effort into my squat and deadlift, that, you know, it's only a couple days later that I'm doing my upper body and my body is still tired. My shoulders are still tired from shrugging 675 for 10, which is fun that I actually could do that, to be honest with you. So, but I expect this 800 to be coming here pretty soon. As long as my lower back keeps getting stronger like this, I believe it's going to happen. My legs, I feel, are strong enough to do it. So let's see how everything works out here in a couple of weeks. But, you know, for right now, I'm pretty happy with where things are going. You know, sometimes it is frustrating training. You got to figure out a way to work around stuff. And then I drop back and now I'm peaking back up. My lower back strength is coming back. I feel good. So hopefully I will show it to you here very soon. But anyways, everyone have yourself a great week. See ya.